Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I've just seen the final, well, they're still tallying the votes right now. But the final vote is basically in. Mitt Romney did not win the election, and Barack Obama did. Now, this video is not to either mock or give attitude. This is just a question posed to you, ladies and gentlemen. Did you make the right choice in your decision as who is going to be president? You see, I didn't vote for either candidate. I actually voted for a third-party candidate. Like I said in my previous video, which I'll connect to this, who can you choose as president? I knew from the very beginning that whoever I chose was not going to win. It's not the point. And I know I'm going to probably hear, if anyone puts it on my script in my comments, and I don't mind you doing it, that many people probably say you wasted your vote. I didn't waste anything. Anyone who sees this, you don't waste a vote. You make a decision on somebody you believe will win, or you believe they have something you believe in, because that's how many people that have been in office made it. Not because they were popular, but because people believed in them. So basically, whoever hears this, the question is posed to the people who have voted for Barack Obama. Because when it comes to the people for Mitt Romney, I'm going to say something very different to them. But for the people for Barack Obama, my question is this, I pose to you. Did you make the right choice? Did you look at the evidence, or did you go by the rhetoric? Did you go by his skin color? Did you? I suggest you really think about this for the next 4 years. Because no matter if you like to hear this bit or not, whatever happens after this point, you can't blame George Bush. You cannot blame George Bush's father. You can't blame Ronald Reagan. You can't blame, basically, John F. Kennedy. You cannot blame Bill Clinton. You cannot blame anyone after this point. Once you reach past the 4-year mark, anything that goes on now is truly under the hands of the current president. Saying that still because of the wars before we have this problem, no. That bit can go out the window. For the simple fact is this, if you cared that much about the wars, honestly, you had your shot in 2004 to do something about it. When it came to basically the candidates then. Not even going to bring them up, who they are. We already know who they are. If you really cared that much about not being in a war, you could have voted the one you didn't like out. Now you voted someone in twice. And at this moment, has he done a good job or not? That's the question you should really think about this. Because I've already seen the people waving flags and all happy and joy and everything. But there's something not many people are going to remember after this unless it's brought up again. 4 people are dead because of mismanagement by our State Department. 4. You can say anything you want right now about, oh, the president didn't know. He knew. We all know he knew. The evidence more than points to it. Now, the question is going to be this, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not saying this will happen. If it is found later in years that the president lied about everything that was said before the election finally reached the end, in other words, what happened in Libya, do you believe you can justify voting for a man who let 4 people die? Because honestly, if he knew 3 months ahead of time, at least 3 months, that embassy needed protection, that the ambassador asked for help and it was refused, and he knew, can you justify voting for a man who let someone die? And I know people are going to say, oh, I'm a Romney supporter. I didn't vote for Romney. I voted for Johnson. Gary Johnson. He was the only one that was from the independents. I originally wanted to vote for Andre Pernette. I wanted to vote for him, but unfortunately he didn't make the cut. So it was Johnson, so I voted for him. Honestly, I don't have to worry about anything. I could have voted for Romney because that was my second choice. But honestly, when it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, who voted for Barack Obama, you should really think very carefully what you've done. Because honestly, if the vote is still going on, and I doubt Romney is going to be able to pull this off, because they've already projected Barack Obama winning this. But if Romney does pull this off, I'll make a following up video about what's going to happen with Romney. But I doubt that's going to happen. So I say this to everyone who voted for Barack Obama. Think very carefully. If I ever meet someone in the street who voted for Barack Obama and then complains about what happened with George W. Bush, I will laugh in your face. I'm not being insulting, but I will laugh. For the simple fact, if you didn't like how Barack Obama was going, you should have voted for Romney. You have no rights to be pissed off anymore because you had your shot. You had all the evidence put in front of you. If you were acting like you were blinded because, oh, he was our first black president, then if you were black and you said that to me, I would say to you that you're the most ignorant person I've ever met. For the simple fact that if you were not willing to look past your own blackness and the blackness of the man that is biracial, then you are the most ignorant and foolish person I could ever meet. I know people are going to take this the wrong way and think I'm being insulting. I'm not. Because there are a lot of people who voted for him because he was black still. Not just because they believed his politics were all right. I've met a whole bunch of people in the street, Africans, not Afro-Americans, Africans that said, he's going to win. And I asked them simply, what did he do right? They won't give an answer because they don't know. They said, he's black, he's going to win. I say this to anyone who's black American or black African who has become an American citizen or is by African descent and is born in America. You should really think carefully. If you did not vote for this man because you believed that he could change things, if you voted for him just because he was black, then you have made the most serious mistake twice. Once because you allowed seeing this man for just his skin color instead of what he could do. And now if you voted again for the same man and did it for the same reasons instead of trying to see if his politics were good, you simply made the most stupidest mistake of your life. Because everything that our ancestors went through, and I'm part black, they wanted equality. They didn't want to be seen just as black people. They wanted to be seen as people. And I say this again, people. Black people have one of the most serious mistakes they could ever have. They don't see past their own skin color. Yes, there is some racism in this world. Yes, there's some racism in this country. And every race has racism. The one that has the greatest racism is not white. It's black. Because black people don't want to see themselves anything other than black. They don't want to see their people. And I know a black person is going to say, I'm a person. True. You think of yourself as a person, but do you call your friend my nigga? Do you let someone call you my nigga? That shows you're not a person. Because that word meant one thing. It was the next word next to slave. That's what it was. We were not called black people in the beginning. Our ancestors were called slaves, Mongoloids, subhumans. After the Civil War, what were we called? Negroes. And they took that word basically, I believe, from Spanish, which means black. Even though I'm part Spanish, I don't speak Spanish, but it's not the point. That's where the main word comes from. Black. They, instead of using the word slave, they used the word black. And I've heard so many years that people were treated like crap. Like shit. And they never wanted to be called niggers by white people ever. But now they call themselves niggers. Either to each other or to themselves. Say, I'm a nigger, and I'm proud of it. That shows that you're nothing but a very ignorant person who has disrespected everybody that ever came before you. Because you will not see yourself as a person. And that was one of the reasons why a lot of people voted. Because of this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pulling on my skin because a lot of people voted because he was black. Partially. And they don't see him mixed. Now, for his politics, that's the other thing that was started in this video. Are you sure you made the right choice? Taking away the black part. Seeing what he's done. Seeing what has been done lately about the allegations that he allowed 4 people to be killed. That an embassy that had more than a few people in it, I think about 39 people were in that embassy, and 4 people died there, and he had data and evidence that showed months before that those people were attacked twice already, and that there was a gaping hole in the embassy wall where they had been attacked before, and no one did anything. He is responsible for that. So if you voted for a man knowing full well that that actually happened, and it comes up later in years or later in months that it was true, and either this man will have nothing done to him or he will be brought to task of an impeachment, you argue and say that's not fair, then you had no right to even vote. Because if you were willing to let someone who knew clearly and could have done something and did nothing, you're accessory to murder. You let this man stay in office. Now, for me, I didn't vote for him, so my hands are clean. Now I'm coming to the people that voted for Romney. You guys, conservatives, or near conservative, if I got to say anything to you, I can say this. If there were more of you that didn't vote, that's your fault. If there were more conservatives out there, it doesn't matter if they were black and Spanish. I met Spanish conservative, I met Asian conservative, I met Filipino. Actually, Filipino people are very conservative. If there were more of you and you chose not to vote, this is your fault. Most of it is your fault because you didn't fight hard enough to try and get it done. Not saying that the Democratic Party was not against you. Yes, I've heard some of the rhetoric. Between both parties, the one that had the worst rhetoric was Democrats. Flat out calling people the most disgusting names and even threatening to kill people when the Republicans never did. If there were more people that could have voted to actually put the tips and turn the tide for Romney, and maybe it may still, because Romney looked like he may win the popular vote. I'm not saying that gets you to win, but that could be an argument that could be put through the court. And counting on the absentee ballots and the uncounted ballots, I'm not saying that Romney will win, but if there are people out there that didn't vote, you really didn't help your man. As I said before in my previous videos, this is not about saying that if you voted for a Republican, you wasted your vote. If you voted for a Democrat, you wasted your vote. Only time you waste your vote is when you don't vote. You must vote if you want to actually argue and say that I want change. It doesn't matter if you vote like I did a third-party candidate. Not the point. The point is, you chose someone. You voted for them. If they lost, then so be it. But if you didn't vote at all, you have no right to even complain. Because you had your shot, and you didn't take it. So for the ones who did vote, I'm proud of both you and the Democratic Party people. I just said they need to consider what they've done. But anyone who's voted, I'm very happy that anyone has voted and has put their own feelings and thoughts into what they did. And for the Romney people, if, and this is well for you, if Barack Obama is found guilty for what he's done about what happened with Libya, you can be in thought of resting that you didn't vote for the one you knew that did wrong. For when it comes up to 2016, and if things are still going badly, you can say, I voted for the right guy, and you go to a Democrat and you say, your guy sucks. I know I did the right thing. I didn't vote for your guy. So you can't say that. So that's for the Republicans. Now when it comes to the independents, like myself, I can say this for independents, and both parties will probably bash you for saying, you know you wasted your vote. You didn't waste your vote, my brothers and sisters who are independents like myself. There was no wasted vote. You chose one of the people to try and run through the third-party candidate. You went for the Constitutionalist Party and voted for them. You went for the American, I believe, the American Party and voted for them. You voted for the Justice Party, you voted for them. You voted for whoever you believed in. Don't feel bad about it. You're no different than Republicans. You didn't vote for the current president. If this president is in big trouble for what he's done in the last few weeks, the last couple of months, your hands are clean. So don't feel bad about it. The man that you voted for, which was Johnson, if anyone voted for Johnson, it's okay. He got maybe 1 to 2% of the vote. He might only got 1% of the vote. He didn't get that much. But honestly, if you voted for him, don't feel bad. Your hands are clean, as mine are. If I had voted for a Republican, if I had voted for Romney, my hands would still be clean. It wouldn't make a difference. This is all on Democrats now. If their candidate, who's now has kept his position, really does wrong right now, there is no one to blame. I'm saying this clearly, and I know a lot of Democrats are going to say this is just a rant of a Republican. I am an independent. I voted for Johnson. I don't really care what you think, with no disrespect intended. Really, none. If I wanted to say I voted for Romney, I would have said I voted for Romney. But I didn't. When it comes down to it, my hands are clean, even if I had voted for Romney. It is. I have the clear mind to say, you know what? Whatever happens to you guys, it's all on you. You made this clear decision to vote for someone that has not done a great job. That data has been shown. It just counts on if you wanted to see past his skin color. And if you did see past his skin color and still believe that he did a good job, well, now you're going to have to decide, did I choose right if things go bad? Because there's no one to blame anymore. It's been 4 years. There's no way that anything that happened with Bush is going to cover over to this. And even with the economy the way it is, I'm sorry. If things were supposed to recover now, it's been 2 years. The economy should have partially recovered already. It has not. That is due to what was decided by the stimulus package. The stimulus package did not work. And I hear a lot of people saying it should have been bigger. How much money are you willing to blow on a stimulus package that didn't go to infrastructure? A lot of it didn't go into it. It didn't. If it did, we would have more jobs that way. A lot more people will be having government jobs, not jobs that are from industry that is private. We're talking about jobs that are government jobs, infrastructure jobs. Most of it is. So that's the best I can say for all three parties. For the Democratic Party, if you didn't vote for him because of what he believed in, if you voted for him because you're thinking that he's black and you have to vote a black man in, and this, then you made the most stupidest mistake of your life. And I'm going to be honest about it. You should have voted for a person you thought was good, not because he was black. For the people who were in that party who voted because they looked past his blackness and actually voted because of what they believed in, I suggest you look at what he's done, and if he starts doing really bad things, this is all your fault, because the evidence was in front of you, and you chose not to heed it. And now if he goes down in flames, this is your fault. For the Republicans, for those who did not vote who are Republicans, you have no right to complain. If you could have been the one that tipped the tide for Romney to win, it's your fault. For those who did vote, I commend you, just like I commend the Democrats who actually vote because of policy, what they believed in, not for skin color. As I said before, I am not totally bashing the ones who made the decision on policy. For you Republicans, you did your job. Your hands are clean. If anything goes wrong with Obama, your hands are totally clean. You put your best effort out. For independents, the same thing. You made your choice. You knew the candidate you chose was not good, that he would not win, but you still believed in him. Remember, this isn't always about picking the candidate you know is a sure thing. This is about picking the candidate you believe in. There is no wasted vote. The only wasted vote, as I said for Republicans, is when you don't vote. Anything that goes wrong when you don't vote is your fault. because could have made a difference. No matter if it went to the independent or Republican, you could have made a difference. A vote's a vote. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really do not want to make people believe I'm being that insulting. For me saying people are stupid, I'm not trying to really be cruel to you, but I want to get it through your head that sometimes you need to see more than just a person's skin color. And I'm sure I'm going to be taken to task for saying what I'm going to say. I'm sure people are going to start cursing at me or even calling me a stinking nigger. And I am black. I'm mixed. I have 4 races in me. But honestly, even if they do, I know I've done the right thing because I looked at the person for who he was, his politics, his policies, his ideals. Just like a lot of people did. But for those who didn't, who just looked at him for his skin color, my brothers and sisters, and you know what? I'm going to apologize to you right now for saying that you're stupid, honestly. I'm going to apologize to you for saying you're ignorant. I will apologize for you for that. You know why? Because when it comes down to it, when you see this video and see the parts that I said, other than the parts that was insulting, I'm hoping, truly hoping, that you'll actually think about what I said. I know you'll probably be pissed at this moment because of how insulting I sound, and I didn't mean it, really. But I really wanted to get you to be paying attention to this, because just saying it sometimes is not enough. Sometimes you have to be very impactful. Sometimes you have to reach people in a way they don't expect. And I did that because I wanted you to see what you did. If you did, in your mindset, you did vote for this man because you believed a black man should still be in the office. Not a man. Not a man with good ideals. Not a man with good beliefs and good faith in things. If you voted for him like that, you really need to reevaluate yourself as a black person. Really. A lot of people died for you to have the rights to think and to feel and to do whatever you want, and not to drink out of, basically, if you're in the street and you want to go and drink out of a water fountain, it doesn't say colored anymore. It just is a water fountain. A lot of people died and got hurt for you. And they wanted you to do one thing. They wanted you to see past skin color. They wanted white people to see past skin color. But if you didn't see that, they went through a lot for nothing. And I don't want to see that before you. I'm hoping you'll understand what I'm saying. So, this is my view on, did you make the right choice in your president? Subscribe and comment if this doesn't piss the crap out of you. And understand, in this, I don't usually do a lot of politics or science and stuff. I do mainly wrestling. If you're seeing this because of politics, know that if you like my videos, you're going to see that some videos have been about religion, science, maybe some movies. I'll be doing that also on and off. You can leave a comment what you think I should also talk about. And I hope you have a good day. And if Romney does somehow pull this out of his hat, which I don't believe he will, I will make a subsequent video about that. Have a good evening.